a todos? Me encuentro acá en New Jersey frente a Razza, la pizzería de mi amigo Dan Riger, que hoy nos va a dar una masterclass y nos va a enseñar a hacer las mejores pizzas. ¡Vamos! Oh, Dan!
Welcome.
Thank you for having me here at Razza, incredible pizzeria, finally.
I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming. I feel like pizza making is 30 different steps, right? So there's really no secrets. Process is everything with pizza. Ingredients are very important, of course. They're the building blocks that we use to build the product.
Tell us about the ingredients that we're going to use for the dough, right?
Yeah, so for this dough, we're using 3 different flours. Yeah, so this is an all-purpose flour, and then we have a high extraction wheat here. It's spring wheat. We have some whole spelt flour.
Spelt flour.
Yeah, which I really like.
It will help to stretch the dough easier, right?
And then we have our sourdough starter. Yeah, so we're using a stiff starter here.
A stiff starter.
Yeah.
The hydration is around
60%. Yeah.
And which kind of flour do you use for a starter?
So this we're using the all-purpose flour.
Okay. So when it is active, then you're ready to start with the dough.
Ready to go.
And then a little bit of salt, right? Let's start with the dough.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so we have water. We're shooting for about...
This is tap water.
This is tap water, absolutely. Yeah, so we're gonna add our flour, and we're gonna add all 3 flours right now. Now you could add your sourdough starter now, but I like to do an autolyse.
Yeah,
and
I do autolyse with the starter too.
That works too.
Right now it looks like a biga.
It looks very, very dry. But as the starch hydrates, it's gonna loosen up.
Yeah.
And that's it. And now we're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait 20 minutes. Our autolyse is finished.
Okay. Wow.
We waited.
Gluten development.
Changed. Yep. Yeah. Gluten development has started. You can
the magic
see it.
of the gluten.
The magic. Magic. And then we're gonna add our sourdough starter.
Yeah.
Right here. And we're gonna add our salt also.
At the same time. Okay.
And we're gonna give it folds every 30 minutes for the first 2 hours, and then we'll divide it and round it into dough balls.
It's going to be long. So while we wait again for the dough, come with me. There's some bread over here. Oh, done.
Yes. You ready to bake some bread?
When I smell bread, then I'm here. Wow,
so
beautiful.
Special.
This is almost ready to be baked.
It is. It is, yeah.
So this is your sourdough.
This is our sourdough.
Loaves.
Yep. Bake some gorgeous, ugly loaves of bread, which I really like.
Super
Aren't they beautiful?
Light. Oh, super light.
Very, very light.
Right here.
We'll make some great sandwiches out of these today.
Are we going to try one of those?
I think so.
Beautiful. No, they're super artisan.
Yeah.
Love them. Just really light.
Beautifully ugly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, hot. Finally, 4 hours later.
Yes.
We had a lot of pizza in the middle.
Yeah. And now we're ready to divide it, shape it into balls, and let them proof.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour just to keep it nice and dry. And then normally we use a scale to weigh out each one. We go about 265 grams. Normally we weigh out every single piece, but
not today.
Not today. So now we're gonna shape it into a ball.
And give it some tension.
Exactly. There's a million ways to do this. So I like to use the dough scraper as my other hand. And
that's faster.
Much faster. So now we're gonna flour the dough box just a little bit.
So you use only flour, not semolina?
No. Yeah, just regular flour.
The same flour for the pizza.
Yeah, it all works.
Yeah. So now we let them rest again.
Yep. Now we're gonna.
How many hours now?
We're gonna cover it up. So we're gonna give this probably another hour at room temperature.
Okay.
And then we're gonna refrigerate it until tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
And the pizza?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
So tomatoes are a big topic when it comes to pizza.
Yeah.
And there's so many different types and varieties. Just slice it open, a pinch of salt, maybe some extra virgin olive oil, and that's it. So we're gonna get rid of these.
Oh, okay.
You're here at a good time of year because in New Jersey, it is plum tomato season.
Okay.
So we have these incredible...
These are not San Marzano, plum tomato.
Just a plum tomato. So we're going to cut these up and then through a food mill. So now we're gonna put all of our tomatoes into the food mill.
So every time you make pizza, you have to do this?
Every pizza.
Every pizza.
So So now we're gonna grind up the other tomatoes.
The canned tomatoes.
Exactly.
I'll bake pizza with these ones.
There's nothing like a fresh tomato.
So now we are making the other important part of, or ingredient of the pizza.
Yeah, so we're stretching mozzarella now.
Oh.
And we're slowly bringing it up to temperature before we start to stretch it. Very similar to gluten, honestly.
Yeah.
But our protein here is casein. So we need to get the proteins to align and to bond, and that happens through movement, but also through temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love learning about cheese making, and the more I learn about it, the more similar I realize it is
I
to...
think cheese making is going to be my next hobby.
It's
I
a
really
good
love
one.
cheese. Wow, it's hot. Thank you. ¿Te gustaría aprender todos los secretos para hacer unos increíbles panes de masa madre caseros? En Gluten Morgan TV, nuestra plataforma de cursos online, tenemos las mejores formaciones para vos. Cursos de panes, pizzas, hamburguesas, conservas, panetone, pastelería, pastas italianas y mucho más. Con un método muy fácil de enseñanza y desde la comodidad de tu casa, y con los mejores chefs aprenderás a hacer las recetas que siempre quisiste. Entra hoy mismo en Gluten Morgan TV o al primer comentario de este video y descubrí todos los cursos que tenemos para vos. Te espero.
We have to manage this, which
This piece of oven, which is huge and custom made, right?
it's a custom-made oven. It's refractory material, which is basically a specialized concrete floor and walls, and then there's lots of insulation, wood fire only. There's no gas, there's no electricity or anything. We use kiln-dried hardwoods. So species doesn't really matter. Moisture content, the size of the log, is everything. A piece like this versus a piece like this, hold those in your hand. They're completely different.
Different, yes. Although it's the same wood.
It's the same wood, yeah. But this has less material.
Okay.
So this is good for flames and when we're actually baking. If
This for heat.
Exactly, but not while I'm baking pizza.
No.
A piece of wood this size is going to put out way too many BTUs, and our pizza will probably burn before it will actually fully cook. So pieces like this give us control. And while I'm baking pizza, I'm using these.
This is your knob.
Exactly. 3 of these I'd rather use than 1 of these. And then we have these logs also, which is really cool. This is a man-made product.
Yeah, it's more
made
like
from,
ecological.
Exactly, it's made from recycled wood. And this is great because every single piece is exactly the same.
So
like
at
this.
what temperatures right now do you oven? Or should be?
We have every temperature.
Yeah, it's not
right?
the same.
We can put the pizza right here and it's probably 450 degrees right now. Or we could put it in the back of the oven where it's 750 degrees. If we put it close to the fire, of course, it's like 900,000 degrees. But food burns at those temperatures.
Okay, I understand.
So the great thing about a wood oven like this is it's a range of temperatures. So I can move the pizza to wherever the pizza needs to be in that moment.
How many pizzas can you fit here or you bake at the same time?
So technically we could fit 6 or 7, but
Wow, it's huge.
but they don't all bake nicely at that quantity. We like 4 in the oven at once because it gives us control and it
That's why you have 2 ovens.
exactly. Yeah. You can see the color of the dome kind of changed. It was all
it's
black
white.
when we got here this morning. That's how we know we're getting close to the temperatures that we want. About 70 grams of mozzarella.
Not too much, not too many.
Exactly. So we're gonna drizzle a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, just a tiny bit to help it bake.
After or before basil in the oven?
I like it both ways.
Both ways.
Yes.
Because that's a huge debate.
It is a huge debate. Yeah, and for probably 10 years, I only put basil on after the bake.
After.
I mean,
Yeah,
look at
I
it.
love
Smell
it.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
You want it to retain its fresh, bright basilness.
Yeah, and the color also.
Exactly. There's a
And it's
fine
bubbling.
line
Yeah, it's a fine line.
between burnt and
Yeah.
really deep caramelization.
No, but it's looking gorgeous.
Okay, so now I want to get it off the floor and just get a little bit more caramelization on the top.
It's beautiful.
Let some of the steam dissipate.
And the base doesn't get moist,
Soggy.
right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just a few seconds.
Just a few seconds.
Wow. Wow, I like this part.
So I love this. When it's structurally sound enough to pick it up with your hands.
And it doesn't fall that much.
No.
It's in the middle. It's not a Neapolitan. Whoa.
Yeah. I'm gonna use 2 less pieces of cheese. And
two.
maybe a hair less sauce on the next one.
Ooh. No. You really know about pizza.
So much flavor in the actual
So
dough.
much.
So I like to look in here to see,
Inside the cornicione.
so you can tell so much about the mixing process, the fermentation, how much pressure I use to stretch the dough out. Do I need to use more next time, less next time? You can tell so much by the inside there.
Yes, you can see all the air that was inside. Incredible.
Deep, dark caramelization. I can pick it up with my hands. It's not going anywhere.
But I think the secret first is in the fermentation. No? Long
Absolutely.
fermentation. That's what changed, I think, between the last years. Rather than making a dough in 2 hours and baking it, now you spend 2 days, more than 2 days,
Yeah.
ferment it. So that's
Really
a change.
good fermentation.
Yeah, that's the secret. So it's incredible. What did you call Razza, the restaurant?
So it means purebred in Italian. The reason why some people like poodles and some people like Labradors is the minute details that separate one dog from another or one cow from another.
Okay, the Razza. Thank you a
Enjoy.
lot, Dan, for having me here at your Razza.
Glad you were here.
Please tell our audience where they can find you. Where are you located? There are people from everywhere in the world watching this video.
Yeah, city, New Jersey. We're about 10 minutes from Manhattan. You can hit me up on Instagram at RazzaNJ or at Dan Richers, my personal one.
So you know Dan is a master of the pizza and bread too. So please leave some comments, like this video, share it, and I'll see you on the next one. Guten Morgen, everyone. Espero que te haya gustado el video. Si querés seguir profundizando en técnicas de panadería con masa madre, te invito a que visites todos los cursos que tenemos para vos en glutenmorgantv.com. Nos vemos.